and Michael. David or Michael, not sure who wants to start first, but want to give both of you the opportunity to provide an opening statement. Tell us about the $120,000 grant and tell us what the reason, how the money will be spent as well.
Absolutely. Good morning, Chairman Flynn, and to any of the City Council members joining us this morning. Thank you for the time this morning to go over Docket 0846. With the approval of this funding, the Department of Innovation and Technology, DO-IT, can continue our critical core mission of delivering reliable, resilient, and redundant systems and applications to our end users and residents. The target of this funding is to continue to develop deeper level of monitoring around our core applications and core critical services that we deliver to our end users and Bostonians every day. With that, I'd really like to yield the floor over to Michael Hamill, my Chief of Enterprise Applications, who has been running point on the Community Compact Grant on my behalf for his opening remarks. And after Michael Hamill, we'd be glad to take any questions that you may have.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Thank you, David, for being here. And thank you, Michael, for being here. Michael, you're up next.
Great. Well, thank you, Chair Flynn, and thank you, Chief Elgis, for the opportunity to discuss this important initiative. The city has been offered that $120,000 grant by the Commonwealth through the Community Compact IT program. It's a program that provides one-time capital funding for technology initiatives. Service delivery is really at the core of everything that we do and DO-IT. And throughout the pandemic, that's really highlighted the importance of delivering consistent platform availability, not just for our employees, but also for the public. And through this project, we're really looking to support this one-time opportunity to accelerate the deployment of more advanced technology monitoring and management tools. So it's really about leveraging new technologies that are rapidly becoming industry standard to put us into a more proactive rather than reactive posture. For instance, it's not just, historically it's sort of knowing about how much memory you're using on a server, right? And where we're trying to go is not just know how much memory is on the server, but really understand the experience of that person in the public who's trying to apply for a permit, or taking advantage of machine learning so that we can sort of flag, a transaction that was taking a few seconds yesterday that might be taking a minute today. How do we get that intelligence to proactively address an issue before it's felt by our end users, whether they're internally or in the public? At the end of the day, it's really about improving our ability to get the right information to the right people at the right time. These systems collect a lot of system performance data, and one of the biggest challenges facing IT organizations everywhere is really the ability to separate the important insights from the noise. And these tools really help us to narrow down that data so that we're focusing our energy on the places where we're able to intervene and provide better service, rather than spending a lot of time, sort of focused on the noise. So this is an initiative that's really well aligned with our larger priorities of getting more consistent, getting more secure, becoming sustainable. And we're excited at the opportunity to potentially move forward with this project, and happy to take on any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Michael. Michael and David, I think you both mentioned it's a one-time grant, $120,000. I just want to, as I present this to my colleagues, can you explain to me, so if I have any questions when I'm presenting this to my colleagues, artificial intelligence. Can you explain that term as it relates to this grant?
Yes. So sort of in the world of this monitoring initiative, it's really about, so it's sort of the example that I was giving about the time of a transaction. So what the artificial intelligence can help us to do is notice these sort of small changes that we might not, like as humans with so much information, we might not be able to detect. So really it's looking at, if a member of the public is clicking the button to apply for a permit, did that take 2 seconds or did it take 15 seconds? And being able to have the machine tell us that there's a trend, that process is starting to slow down, so that we can proactively look at whether there's potentially an issue coming up that we can proactively address before it becomes an incident where a member of the public has to call us and tell us that the system's not working appropriately. So that's really what it is getting the proactive insights so that we can intervene before it actually becomes an issue.
Okay. And Michael, I know the answer to this question. I just want to also provide the question for people that might be listening, because I use these hearings also to educate the public as well. When we're talking about artificial intelligence as it relates to this $120,000 award, it does not have anything to do with privacy issues at all, or concerns, privacy concerns.
It does not. No, yes, we're not looking to do anything with the personal data that someone might be submitting through a process. It's really about the data that the system is generating behind the scenes to keep the platforms running.
And when Do It knows that there might be a transaction that might be taking a little longer than traditional, or that could be, that usually it could take. So this would obviously, knowing that information and improving it would also improve basic city services, the way residents conduct business with the city over the internet, and it will streamline and help the city workers, but it also help residents get faster results. Is that accurate to say?
That is absolutely accurate.
Okay. And maybe, I know you provided one example, Michael. Can you, just for the people that might be listening, can you break it down a little bit? Machine learning. Tell us about that again. I know you provided the definition, but just give it to us again, just so that we all can be clear on that.
Yeah, sure. So, the machine learning is in the context of this project is, it's really about taking those insights, having the computer system itself be able to analyze that system data over time, to really understand, what is normal and what's an anomaly. So as we get this machine learning, it might not get everything 100% right in terms of flagging things. It might, it might flag some things that, that we might look at and it wasn't an issue, but it can take it from, we might have 30 things a day that we're trying to look at, and it might help us narrow it to the 3 things that are really anomalous, so that we can focus our energy in the right places. But it's really about taking these large amounts of data, and being able to help us understand sort of the anomalous things that are happening within these large amounts of data that we're producing. And another sort of aspect of this is, is something called synthetic transactions, so that we can simulate what a user might experience. So rather than just seeing technically behind the scenes, whether the processor on the computer or memory are being utilized, we can actually step through the process as if we were a member of the public, to see not just if it looks good from the technology side, but to really understand whether a real end user would be able to effectively make their way through this process.
Thank you, Michael. I also want to mention that we are joined by City Councilor at Large, Anissa Orsabi George. Before, I have one final question, but I wanted to give my colleague, Councilor Orsabi George, an opportunity to either present an opening statement and or ask questions at the same time. So Councilor Orsabi George, you're on mute, but thank you for being on.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn. I know I'm joining a few minutes late, so I'll skip opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And then my final question, maybe either to David or Michael. I know we talked about this as a one-time grant, $120,000. Do you need, as we go further into the year, do you think you'll need additional funding to continue this service if we have the grant? Do we need to include something in the budget next year or the year after? I just want to make sure that we're thinking, both short-term and long-term to make sure that we can continue providing these services over the internet and that there is funding available. I know this will be helpful, but I guess maybe sometime down the road, if you want to come back again and let us know that how the program is working and or if there's any funding related issues.
This is, thank you, Counselor. I mean, that's a very good question. This monitoring of our environment, all of our applications, all of our systems that we provide to our end users, to our residents every single day is something that we are looking to monitor and get a deeper level of understanding every single day. Whereas even though this is a one-time funding request or funding ask and to build out our a deeper level of our monitoring, this is not something that we need to turn off. This is something that we will constantly start building upon. So I definitely see an ask coming in the next fiscal year to continue to build on this good work that we are starting now.
Okay, excellent. I don't have any further questions. I'm just taking one final look to see if any of my other colleagues are here. I don't have any other colleagues joining me. Councilor Sabi George, you don't have any questions? You don't have any questions?
I don't have any questions this morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to recommend at the next city council meeting on the next time we meet that we vote on and approve the $120,000 grant award. And I want to say thank you to Michael. I want to say thank you to David. I want to say thank you to Juan Lopez and Kerry Jordan, also from City Council Central staff. But Michael and David, to the DUA team and to the workers you have there, we want to say thank you for your professionalism and hard work as well, and appreciate you coming before the City Council, City and Neighborhood Services to explain the grant and educate the public about the great work that you're doing and how this impacts basic city services across our city. So again, thank you, Michael. Thank you, David. And this meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you, Chairman Flynn. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.